Do I still enjoy Evokers? Yes. Are they playable? Yes. Would I choose them to play them if I tried to be super efficient as a DPS in a group over, let's say, a mage or a melee class or something like this? No. No, I absolutely would not. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Gyro here. Today we're continuing to look at Dracthyr Evokers in Dragonflight. The pre-patch and Dragonflight release are almost upon us, and I think right now is the perfect time to compare the notes and kind of share our experiences and hear from multiple sources, different sources, and I'm yet another source of information for you, my friends, about what evokers are like. Should you bother leveling them? Should you bother playing them beyond just satisfying your curiosity, I suppose, and simply rolling something new? So today we're going to specifically focus on abilities of a evoker in Devastation spec. This is a mage wannabe, so to speak, spec, the DPS spec of evokers. How does it play, specifically in leveling? How does it make you feel? So let's take a look at Devastation spec and how it plays. I think that evokers are too burdened by too many cooldowns. There are just flat out too many cooldowns that they have to play with, and as you unlock further talent points, as you kind of do a little bit of speccing of your evoker. By the way, Soar ability is absolutely freaking amazing, the best ability that has ever been given to World of Warcraft players, and I have a separate video praising it, and you just saw me soaring around. I cannot tell you just how free and happy it makes me feel. Alright, back to the topic of abilities. First ability ever that you get as an evoker, Devastation spec, is called Living Flame. Living Flame is actually very cool in its simplicity. It's very cool in terms of that to the enemies it does damage, and to you or to friendly targets it does healing. Not much healing, but it does healing, and you can spec into it to make it kinda heal for a bit more, if I'm not terribly mistaken, but I think I'm not. So one thing that I highly recommend is that you can take a look at the description of this video, and in the description of the video I will copy this macro for you, which I created myself. Maybe it's not the best macro ever, but it's a very simplistic one, and I found it very useful. So this macro is very simple. It is your main go-to ability, which is the Living Flame, and in this case it casts it onto a mouse over target. So if right now I mouse over this elemental, it will cast it onto the elemental, and if I mouse over myself or a friendly target, it will cast it onto that target. It makes it much easier to navigate rather than having to click between the targets and having to switch it like this manually. I found just addition of this macro actually made my leveling and made my kind of basic kind of life as an evoker much easier. So I kind of highly recommend it. So if I'm right now mouse overing myself and casting Living Flame, it will heal me, or at least it will try to heal me, but I'm completely at full health. But let's start casting at this elemental dude. Alright, so basically it's a little bit of a I suppose spiced up fire mage look, the one that we get here, and I know we're only looking at one ability so far. Second ability that you get straight away is Azure Strike. Well, the thing is that Devastators, or evokers in Devastation spec, basically, let's call them Devastators, they have different colors of magic that they can also specialize in. So if you take a look at the talents, you can see that evoker talents available, and this is so these are core evoker talents available that you obtain. That's kind of a core tree that both specs, preservation and devastation get, and then there is devastation here. So devastation here adds abilities. It also modifies how your Living Flame works. So let's say Ruby Essence Burst, your Living Flame now has a 20% chance to cause Essence Burst, making your next Disintegrate or Pyre cost no Essence, which is cool, nice synergy, but this is only where things are beginning. So this is where it makes sense still. I'm not saying that the rest of it doesn't make sense, I'm just saying it gets a little fatiguing for a casual player who doesn't like too many buttons, and I don't like too many buttons. We also get straight away Disintegrate. If I'm not mistaken, when you start as a Devastator, when you start playing the game as this class, you get like 3 abilities: Living Flame, Strike, and you get the Disintegrate. Disintegrate is a channeled cool ability, doesn't do too much damage of Spell Frost, but it slows down movement of the enemy. So I do not see a particular synergy between these abilities. It's not like one is empowering another, unless you spec into it, possibly. Right now I fired Pyre, but I'm spec'd into Pyre. What I find difficult is that other than the spell frost damage of Disintegrate, and other than Wing Buffet, which is pushing the enemies away, that is on 1.5 minute cooldown, which is a long cooldown, I'm sure you would agree with me. There is kinda no way for Evokers, for Devastators specifically, to keep the enemies at bay. So let's say if you were a mage, not a fire mage, if you were a mage, you have lots of abilities such as Blink, such as Ice Nova, such as Frostbolt to slow people down. That is just to name a few, and I'm not even a proficient, up-to-date mage to talk about mage's abilities right now. Things changed, and I haven't looked at my mage in ages, by the way. So, like, my point is that mage is a better designed, more mature class that has lots of different abilities, same as here. We have Spell Frost here and we have Fire here. You see what I'm getting with that? So Mage also has lots of different abilities, but they're kind of better designed. They're designed to be more synergistic, they're designed to make more sense, arguably, in my humble opinion. And here we have some abilities that are easy to use, such as Living Flame, but then there is this barrage of these other abilities. Here is Fire, here is Spell Frost, here is some Healing Blossom that reminds me of, I don't know, a mix of a druid and a monk. So, in all honesty, my friends, what I'm getting at, again in this non-specialist way, but my impression from playing Dracthyr, I enjoyed thoroughly soaring around, I enjoyed using Living Flame, I think it's a cool, nice 2-in-1 ability, I love it. But overall, here is what I think, and kinda, I don't want to offend someone who is so invested already into being a Dracthyr Evoker. Like, there is no right and wrong, I'm just expressing my opinion here. I think that it's a class without very clear identity by design. As in, they are wannabe mages and wannabe kinda weird healers that are yet to be tested by me, because, you know, maybe I will be surprised, but they are relatively squishy. They cannot keep an enemy at bay, they cannot gain distance away from enemies, they cannot kite very well, at least not from what I have seen. They cannot kite, they cannot. So, do you see what I'm getting at? They are interesting by design, they can soar, they are these dragons, so there is coolness to them, But if your goal is to be effective at DPS, let's say, right? And to help your team and to enjoy as you do this DPS, right? Are they playable? Yeah, they're playable, but there are kind of plenty of classes, such as Mage, let's just stick to Mage as an example here, that do it better. It's as simple as that. That is my humble opinion. Talk to me in the comments down below, especially if you are an experienced mage and if you're a veteran of World of Warcraft just like I am, but perhaps you spend simply more time with Evokers. But these are my continued impressions from beta. Once again, I'm about to test Dragon Riding versus Soaring. I'm about to, you know, continue this leveling journey, which I'm not rushing deliberately on purpose, because I kind of was hoping for some updates from Blizzard on when the pre-patch is, so that I could just create a bit of a timeline for myself and decide if I should keep spoiling myself or if I should hold off and wait, you know? Because I'm happy to wait. What's the point of continuing to go along if the, you know, the real Evoker that I could roll for myself is only a couple of weeks away? So I would actually, to be honest with you, stop and wait instead of doing this. But yeah, lots of cooldowns, some abilities that look good but don't seem to do too much damage, like this Firestorm that I just missed on this Elemental, unfortunately. Not like I'll be, again, I think I'm making myself very clear, but I'll be even clearer. I'm not super impressed with soloing capability of Evokers. I am not. Maybe in the group where you have a tank in front of you and a dedicated healer and you just do this Firestorm and lob these pyres and do the one ability that I have not yet demonstrated to you. Let me show it to you. No, it's not this Hover one. Everyone talks about these empowered abilities. The Fire Breath ability is one of them. It's again a cool design. You hold the button and the bar fills up and you then do damage to everything. In this particular case, did it do a lot of damage? Well, it did some, but it certainly didn't just annihilate everything. It doesn't make you feel too strong. It doesn't. It simply doesn't. Then there is this landslide, which is supposed to stun like something that they borrowed from Shaman, obviously, class, or at the very least it feels like a Shaman wannabe. Yeah, I think this is a class with a bit of a broken identity. I think it is a class that tries to determine what it is, at least in Devastation spec. I am not talking about the healer spec. Maybe it's the best thing since sliced bread. I frankly would be amazed and surprised if it is, because it just looks like a cool class, or at least class that they were like, what can we do so that it fits into World of Warcraft and fits all these niches of, for example, a draconic spellcaster. But yeah, has its own unique niche. I do not yet see its unique niche. I see introduction of extra abilities and extra mechanics, such as empowering of abilities, such as Fire Breath. You hold a button and it gets stronger. Okay, good on you, Blizzard. But was it particularly required? Is it actually adding something to the game that was absolutely required? Well, color me not sold on it. And I encourage conversation, friendly conversation down below in the comments. Do I still enjoy Evokers? Yes. Are they playable? Yes. Would I choose them to play them if I tried to be super efficient as a DPS in a group over, let's say, a mage or a melee class or something like this? No. No, I absolutely would not. What I would choose them for? Well, I would choose them to beat the boredom. I would choose them to soar around. I would choose them for funsies. Absolutely I would. If my son would like to play, I would say, hey, roll a Dracthyr Evoker, and you will just love it, my son. But do you know what I'm saying? But to be awesome in the groups, probably not. Probably not. What do you think? Let me know. Like, because are they a cool class? Kinda. Especially this bit. This is like the best thing ever since sliced bread. Honestly, I still think that soaring is probably the best thing about Dracthyr Evokers, I swear. I swear. But as far as DPS is concerned, yes, a few decent abilities, a few fun abilities, Fire Breath, empowering abilities, I don't know, Living Flame that does both jobs of healing you and hurting enemies. Yeah, it's cool, it's alright. Being able to gain speed like this by diving and soar a little bit more. Again, I talk about soaring, which I already have done in the previous video, but you know what I'm saying. Beyond that, quite honestly, I am struggling to justify for myself why would I level one? Why would I do it? As a DPS, they look mediocre. Maybe they start shining amazingly in the higher levels of the end game. And I wanted to talk to you about the talents. I haven't fully forgotten about it, but I think we're out of time now because the video is already too long. But these are my thoughts on Evoker. If you're really super interested for me to go through this talent tree, I doubt that you will be, but if you are, let me know, and I'm happy to stop and talk. Will I test it in Preservation, in the other specialization, the one where we can be healers? Yes, possibly, I will try it, but considering how many cooldowns and how undetermined, kinda meh DPS that these Devastators are, well, to be honest with you, I hope you can't blame me for being doubtful that Preservation is going to suddenly give me a healer I absolutely am desperate to play. I'll be honest with you, that's how it makes me feel, and this is where I'm gonna wrap up this little check-in video from beta. I still look forward to Dragonflight massively, but at this stage, no chance, almost no chance, okay, let's say almost no chance that I will be a Dracthyr first and everything else second. Talk to me in the comments down below, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again. Talk to you in the next video about something else, Dragonflight related. Bye for now.